Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm heading over to South East London, to Camberwell to be precise, to meet Jack and Anna, who are the owners of a very unusual building that is up for sale through a unique property company for 1.25 million at the moment. It is currently now a beautiful family house coming in at 1,400 square feet. That's about 130 square meters. But it started out life as a Victorian hardware shop. It's been a toy shop, it's been an artist studio, it's been a print shop. It's a fabulous place. It's a really warm, welcoming environment. I hope you enjoyed this interview. I had great fun filming it. I'm going to hand over to Jack and Anna now.
Hi Simon, good to see you. Do come in. Hi, I'm Anna.
Hi, I'm Jack.
And we own 9 Flaxman Road. So this place is 1,400 plus square foot of what used to be a Victorian double-fronted house, and then at some point in its history was converted into a flat. So what's kind of exceptional about it is that inside the house you've got the old exterior brick wall and window, and then the extension that was the shop front where they would have displayed their goods. And our understanding was that it was originally a hardware shop, and it was a toy shop, and then it was a print shop, and in fact behind what we've got as a counter is the refurbished print shop counter that was left to us when we bought the place. I'm a theatre director, but more now a writer. I was an academic for many years and retired recently from that job, and I spend most of my time writing from home.
And I'm a writer. I act as well, but I spend a lot of time here in the study writing.
And the beauty of this place is that we've got enough room to each have a study. And sometimes a whole day will go by where we haven't seen each other except say hi in passing, and then we come and eat and talk in the evening. So it's a great place for 2 independent work-at-home people. We bought it from an artist, a photographer, who had it as a workspace, so it wasn't quite a family home. And when we moved in, we did quite a lot of work to transform it into a family home, but it is also our live workspace today. That's what we do. We were living in Brighton. We left London for various family reasons, mostly for our daughter's education, and she left home, went to uni, and she kept saying, you've got to go back to London, you've got to go back to London. And we were thinking, how on earth are we going to afford to go back to London? And the idea for me of going back and doing another conversion of a terraced Victorian house in London, where you know what we do, you knock through the ground floor walls and you do all that, which is kind of very generic. I really didn't want to do that. So we looked at all sorts of possibilities. We looked at little skinny strips of land that we might be able to have afforded to build, looking at everything. And then I just put the word unique into my computer, and the first thing that came up was this spiral staircase, which was dark green, and that was the only photograph, and it said unique properties. And I remember the wording. It said that this was a very unusual workshop space that hadn't been, in the words were, hadn't been messed around with, and how unusual that was. I then lost it. I couldn't find it again. It just disappeared. I couldn't access it. I think I didn't have the word unique property. I just had unique in this place. Anyway, after some months it came back into my orbit, and I rang up Unique Properties, and sure it would have gone, and they said, no, it's available and you can probably come and view it next week. So my daughter and I hopped on a train from Brighton and stepped out in Brixton, and it was always like the sort of the traffic fumes were making us high. We were back in the big city where I grew up. I was born in London, and she was born as well. And we were in Brixton, and this kind of rush of energy you get in Brixton rushed over us, and we walked down Cold Harbour Lane, and I remember getting palpitations as we turned the corner into Flaxman Road, and realised that the property we'd seen by now the frontage of was just right near the corner. And we came in, the owner was here, and we found this absolutely not messed with property, floor to ceiling, with books and papers and boxes, and luckily I've got x-ray eyes, so I sort of saw through all that, and Nina and I went up the spiral staircase. We just looked at each other and went, yeah, this is the place. Incredibly excited.
Anna and Nina had seen it and had fallen in love with it, and then I came separately. So he's a photographer, and he had a lot of his stuff here, and there was, a dark room and so on. And this spiral staircase was actually enclosed, and there was a darkness to it, which actually, since we've moved in, that's all been cleared away, and that's why you have this fabulous open space. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, since we've been here, which is 8 years, and by the way, we love the area. We're not moving out of the area. We're just downsizing. We've had quite a few people, local people, come and ask us about, how what we're doing, how we came here. And people have misty-eyed memories of the toy shop and the printing press and so on. So it's long been a part of the village, as it were, just as much as the pub up the road.
But it took us a long time to it took us 9 months actually to buy it, and that's how dedicated we were to buy it.
It didn't have the permission for ordinary people to reside.
And we'd sold our house, and we took the gamble, and we rented from a friend for 10 weeks, waiting for this permission to come through from the council. And I suddenly had the idea that I should contact a councillor. And this is what happened. I wrote to the council and said, we're in our third age, we've taken the gamble, we're trying to buy this place and we can't get the mortgage, we're in a log jam because we can't get the permission. And I'm not kidding, 2 weeks later, he said, welcome to Lambeth. We moved in. It went suddenly incredibly quickly because he somehow got our application processed. So that was the first challenge. But the second challenge, kind of literally within the space itself, is we've made a little roof terrace upstairs to have some outside space. The engineer, the actual structural engineer who does the survey, couldn't get up. The trapdoor was so small, he couldn't get up onto the roof. So we couldn't see the roof. I'm smaller, so I could eventually get a ladder and go up to the roof. So that challenge was like, how do we get a stairway up and make access to the roof upstairs to make a little terrace space, which we've made. And luckily we have a very creative, collaborative Polish carpenter who's worked with us a lot. He's a very talented man, and we just went over and over and over how to make it work, and we've made it work. This space worked for us. We had to put a kitchen in, a bathroom in. What else major have we done?
Well, I would just like to pay tribute to my study, which is, it's sort of angular and different. It's got its own special door, and indeed, it's from the study that you go up to the roof garden. And that was a kitchen before. So there's been a lot of lateral thinking about this. But would you say it was a challenge? In a way, all of these things...
A pleasure.
Well, Anna loves all this. Anna should have been an architect. She absolutely loves the challenge. It's actively a pleasure. For Anna, it's actually a pleasure to move and start a new place. And it's almost like her work of art and her dream task. So, you talk about challenges. Yeah, sure, there were challenges, but she loves a challenge.
But it's also an endless experiment because, for example, in lockdown, when we were cooped up here and our daughter came back to live with us, she suddenly said, Mum, you always pretend you're a minimalist, but you're a maximalist. This is crazy. White walls. What do you mean white walls? And that's when we took the plunge and we started using dark paint. I have to say the bathroom has been 4 different colours, and Jack suddenly said, what about black? And I went, wow. And now that's my just favourite thing we've done here is create a black bathroom. And we've used dark colours down here and upstairs as well, mixed with white. And I think what happens is, for me, is that living here is a constant reminder of how unusual this place is. You can't forget it. You can't. It's not neutral. It's always telling you what it used to be, what it is, what we've made it, what its past was. You know, when we need to get big furniture upstairs, you can't go up the spiral staircase, so you have to take the bed out and use the fantastic trapdoor that's there. I love that. I love the kind of craziness of that. And I want to say one last thing about that, is what makes it exceptional is it's a space like this in a terraced London street. I mean, there's no other shops on this street. So it's sort of, it's just an exceptional building flanked by two houses.
Because I'm a writer, when someone says it's very unique, it makes me twitch because it's unique. Unique means unlike anything else you've ever come across. So that's the first good thing. And the second good thing is, because we work here, the whole feeling of space and, you know, little nooks and crannies that are always interesting, and the light always changes, and it changes with the seasons. So you have that in London. It's a bit like New York living. I've just recently been in New York, and it's a bit like that. I just love the idea. There's something very wonderful and expansive and freeing about it. And for us, we work at home. We're creative artists. So it's an inspiring space.
The other thing I just want to say is our friend next door has a wonderful wisteria, and she's allowed us to train it across her house. So that's another seasonal thing, is that the wisteria now blooms over our house, which I love.
Well, I absolutely love my study. I know I say I go out to cafes and everything, but I absolutely love my study, and I spend many long, happy hours there. But my favorite place is where we are now. I love the feeling of space. I love the expansive nature of it. I love the little interests that you can find, the little bits of something that catches your eye in a corner and so on. Anna's done it so fantastically.
So this community is like, it's like a kind of slice of multicultural London. It's just extraordinary. You know, we've got so many languages spoken locally. It's very vibrant. It's very mixed. So in terms of the wider community, it's a very vivid and exciting place to live. Personally, what I love best about it is I walk almost daily to Brixton, and every single day I get that buzz going to Brixton Market. That's my favourite thing, that we're really, really near Brixton. We're very well served for food shops locally. We've got a 24/7 NISA. We've got lots of shops. We've got lots of restaurants. Fantastic public transport links. The other thing I love about here is we've got the overground behind us, the Thames link, and within 6 minutes flat we can get to the Tate Modern, to the South Bank, and now with the Lizzie line we can get to Heathrow really easily because we just take that train to Farringdon and zoom. I recently came back from a long, wonderful holiday in Japan, exhausted from jet lag, you know, from a long journey. I got home from Heathrow in under an hour. It was amazing. We've also got beautiful Ruskin Park nearby, and they've just opened a community sauna, and it's a brilliant community sauna. So these are kind of highlights for me about this neighbourhood, I would say. I'm not sentimental about places. I love this place passionately, and actually when we bought it I thought this is the last place we'll ever live in. Money. Our daughter is of an age where she is paying a ridiculous amount of rent, and we want to release some money, downsize and release some money for her to buy her own flat. That's really the only reason, and we're determined to stay in the area.
We love this area. As Anna has said, we've got very dear friends here. We've got acquaintances. We love all the local shops and all of the things we've talked about. Every advantage you could possibly want, especially as we get older, to do with hospitals and doctors and all that kind of thing. So we want to stay in the area, and we love this place, and that's the only reason, downsizing. Anyway, we've said it all. We love it.